What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. When we're creating a garden or any kind of system, one of our main goals should be the highest possible yield with the least amount of work. One way we can do this is to have an element within our system support a function. So today I'm going to show you how we do that with the chickens in the food forest and create a mutually beneficial connection. Let's go! A question that's often asked in the comments is whether or not the chickens live in the food forest. They actually don't. And for my particular circumstance, the kind of garden I have, they would just be a little too disruptive. Because not only in the garden do we have, woody perennials, but we have also a number of annuals. So around the base of the annuals, the chickens just scratch too much. If you've never seen a chicken scratching, they're ferocious and they're super hard working. They really never stop. So that could be a good thing. What we really need to do is look at a chicken and all of its characteristics and then try to use those to our advantage and blend those with something else to try to form a beneficial connection. So what Bill Mollison likes to do is he makes a little chart for whatever he's working for. For instance, he uses a chicken in his Permaculture Designer's Manual, and he'll list all 3 different groups. First he'll have the products and the behavior of the chicken. Then he'll list some of the needs. And then what he'll do is list a lot of the intrinsic characteristics. So once we have all these things of a chicken, we can kind of find out how we could use that within our system. I'm not gonna lie, growers, some of the things that happened this year left a bad taste in my mouth, bitter, and I don't want it happening again. So one of the main things was, if you followed along, a good amount of our fruit was attacked by the cuculio pest. And I think some of that was because, we had such a mild winter last year, so it didn't kill off some of the pests. But it was also because I didn't come out and I wasn't proactive enough the year previous. So this year I'm making sure I get on top of things. I'm gonna be as proactive as I possibly can. The thing is, I don't wanna just, do a lot of work when I can just do it smarter, when I can have something to perform that work for me. That's what the idea is, because the only time we're gonna incur work is if we don't have an element in our system that's performing that work for us. So if we can set something up to do it, we actually don't have to do it. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. We're going to bring these chickens into the food forest and create a little corral for them around some of the trees. What that's going to do is focus all their scratching to one location where I want it. This way they're not running throughout the garden and ripping up some of my annuals, but they're also going to be eating a lot of the bad bugs, and especially their larvae, breaking that pest cycle. So what we've done is we've gone from something like bad pests within our garden, and now we're taking those out, but also feeding the chickens at the same time, getting that mutually beneficial connection. Right here, we've got a red delicious apple tree. I don't have as many support species underneath this one, so it's gonna be easy to run the chickens under here. One way I've stayed on top of proactivity of keeping the pests down is once I see any fruit that's fallen, we take it up and we get rid of that, because that's a place where that's harboring the larvae, and then that's just continuing the cycle of the pests. We need to break that. So I don't have the chickens in here all the time, like I said, but they still do support the forest, and the forest actually supports them. If they were in here, they would take away from it. But just separating them has actually caused, a lot of good things to happen. One thing is the chickens are actually not only providing eggs for us, but they've become our soil manufacturing plant. Paul Gauci talks about this, and we basically copied a system where we're just throwing all of our grass clippings in here, any extra vegetables or anything extra we throw in here. Previous years, I let a lot of this stuff in the food forest die back, and then after it all fell to the ground, sometimes I let it compost in place. But this year, I'm gonna come out here a little early in the season, remove a lot of this green material, bring it into the chicken coop, let them go to work on it, and also build my own compost pile. I've just found that homemade compost is the best growing medium, the best fertilizer you could ever use, especially when it's from your own property. For some reason, it seems to just work better. So as we're going here, we've got the chickens in a great system helping us while they're separated from the garden with just a fence right here, so we can throw things from the food forest right into the chicken coop. And the other food forest bumps up against the chicken coop as well. Location is important. So let's get these chickens into the food forest and have them working. I got a few pieces of bamboo now. Let's go grab the chickens.
Yeah. It's the truth, I step into the night, but it never made sense to me. Some crave the limelight, Makes me wonder how I'm supposed to be. Could it be wrong to kick back and just ride? Well, let the truth be told, when in my zone, learn from.
As you can see, Percy, she's the buff Orpington, the blonde one, or the yellow one. She actually molted and got her new coat, so she's looking nice and beautiful. Give you a little zoom of her. She's a real pretty girl. She's a queen, the most docile, gentle chicken. And if you can see right there, that's Forrest. She's actually in the middle of molting right now, which is a good thing. By the time winter comes, she'll have a beautiful new coat and be able to show that off for all the other chickens. As you can see, they're already going to work. This is exactly what we want. Them doing the work for us, looking for all that larvae. They're great diggers, great foragers. I'll tell you what, the food forest wouldn't be the same without this little guy. Watching over the chickens, always helping out as the head of security. As you can see, they're scratching in there now. What we're doing here, penning the chickens underneath the fruit tree, it may seem very simple, because it is, but basic. But if you just took the chickens and you took the food forest and you stuck them together, they wouldn't benefit one another. But it's the act of putting them in a smaller area for a certain amount of time. So it's the pattern, the arrangement of it. That's really what permaculture is. There's nothing new. There's no new laws, new truths. It's actually discovering a lot of the old truths, old laws, and just blending them and arranging them into a pattern that's going to support us. It looks like Savannah's done laying an egg. She wanted to come to the food forest to have some fun. I'm going to stick her in the little corral. She actually just molted too and got her new feathers. I'm gonna get her in here though, she wants to hang out with her sisters.
But it never made sense to me. Some crave the limelight. Imagine if they put the time to seek to find a talent and watch it take flight.
I'm gonna give the chickens time and let them work in there. And then periodically I'm gonna bring them through the food forest again, maybe in a month or so, 2 months later on the season, and just do the same kind of thing to make sure I'm getting rid of all the pests, all the larvae that are down there. And this is just an example of searching out in nature and seeing a pattern and copying it. Just like Joel Salatin. He's actually one of my favorite examples of doing this. And we see out in nature, well, he noticed it, him and Bill Mollison. We see cows and we see grazers. Joel says that they mob, they mow, and then they move. So what they do, they're in a big section and they eat a lot of grass and then they move. After they move from that location, what always falls behind his cattle are birds. And noticing that, Joel actually went and put chickens behind his cattle. What this did was actually form a function for him that he didn't have to do, a number of them. For instance, by putting the chickens behind the cows, what this did was after the cows went to the bathroom and the cow patties were on the ground, instead of having to spread them or anything, the chickens would go through and they'd eat out the larvae and kick and spread all that manure around. Joel would have, I think, like a 2 or 3 day wait period to allow a lot of like the larvae and the flies within the manure to build up. This way the chickens would have food to eat. So what he did was look at it in nature, see how birds always follow the mobbers, the mowers, and that's what he did. He just copied it, but he used chickens. So he's getting the production of eggs. The chickens are doing the work, moving the patties. They're also keeping the bugs and the flies off of a lot of the cows because they're keeping that population down. So he's getting so many beneficial things, even more than I can think of right now, just from having something else do the work for him. I hope this video got you thinking a little bit. And it doesn't matter if you have chickens or not. That's not what this video is about. It's more about being able to recognize elements within your forest, within your system, and using those to support other functions, designing things so they work for you, not against you. The less you have to do, the better off you are. The more you can remove yourself from the system and still get it working towards a specific yield that you want, you're going in the right path. That's basically what permaculture is about. You know, it's not any one specific thing. It's just the groupings of things, the arranging of things. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I'll continue to bring you along as we manage these pests proactively. We're not fighting against them. It's not a problem, you know, it's a solution. There's a solution there, we just have to wrap our heads around it. We have to look at it from a different perspective and find out what that solution is. Maybe it is the chickens, because by adding them in, this pest problem has actually become a food source, basically, for our chickens. So we're using that to our advantage. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to check us out on Steam It. And I'll do another chicken video for you guys, maybe with some of the more specifics and bring you into the coop and stuff. If you want to see that, hit it in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, well, we'll be back at you real soon. James Prigioni and Tuck.